So in continuing with the journal and discussing the soul versus the ego, one of the things, and I know we're going to put it up on the screen, so I won't share what we have on the piece of paper here, but we go through in this triangle diagram and talk about the soul is on the left-hand side, the ego is on the right-hand side. And the soul is very focused on unity, connection, community, contribution. The ego is very focused on control or survival type instincts, the I focus, which both of those are very, very important for different reasons, which is why we say understanding when to use each. And then we broke it down to like foundational level, going up. So it's how do you view challenges? From a soul level, typically we would say you would view challenges as opportunities. From an ego level, you're going to view them as constraints. It's something that's limiting you. But from a soul level, it's an opportunity. Going back to your traffic, right? If you're sitting in traffic and somebody cuts you off, if your ego is looking at it, it's a constraint, right? How dare they do that to me? They just kept me from getting ahead. But your soul would look at it as an opportunity, a growth opportunity. Okay, what do I stand to gain from this? How can I do something positive with what has just occurred to me? And so as we navigate through the journal, we ask, okay, what percentage of your time then currently do you spend in that looking at life and the challenges of life from that opportunity standpoint or from that constraint standpoint, right? Then going up to overall behavior. The soul looks at our overall behavior as responsive. So we take time, we step out of what is occurring, and we choose how we're going to respond to it. Because nothing is happening to us. Everything is happening with us, which means that we can direct it. Whereas the ego is going to look at it and react. It's very instinctual. And again, there are times for instinctual, right? If you're about to have a piano land on your head as it's being loaded into a high-rise apartment, you don't want to sit there and respond to that situation. We need to be able to react. That's survival. Get the heck out of there.
Yeah,
right?
We don't want to sit and ask, why is this happening?
I don't understand. Why is there a piano up there?
Well said. Yeah. Exactly.
So there are times when we need it. And that's why we don't desire to just like kill off the ego or suppress the ego. It has to be there. Right? But if you're talking to your boss at work and he triggers or she triggers this survival instinct in you, then being reactive may not be in your best interest.
Right.
So next we have the life approach. A soul level is internal, where an ego approach is an external one. And we touched on that a little bit already. Like, am I living my life fully from the internal, or am I living my life fully from the external, or have I found a balance between there? Because both are necessary. Then moving up to identity. How do we have a friend.
We do have a friend.
I don't know if everyone can hear it, but we just had a friend who desired to share with the identity here.
Yes.
His identity is a bird.
Yes, singing with us here, right into the.
It's beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Right into the chimney there for all to hear. I am here.
From the inside
Amazing.
out. So identity is all about how we exist, right? So is it mission-based or is it role-based? Mission-based is under our soul level, which is like your purpose. I'm here, I'm aligning with my purpose, and my purpose, like for me, my purpose is love. Everything that I desire to place into my world internally and into the world externally is all focused on love. But the roles from the ego, that if we identify ourselves with that, would be I'm a mother, I am a partner, I am a minister, I am these things that are role-based and will stop the moment I leave here, right? The moment I leave this planet, I pass on to whatever, those are gone. But mission-based, my mission of love is part of my core. It's who I am. And so I bring that forward.
Right. If I can build upon that, because I feel like this is a tough one for a lot of people, where we feel like, our mission or purpose is our identity. And the one thing to remember is that, and I'm speaking from experience, I grew up playing golf my whole life. I tied my identity to me being a professional golfer and the results that I had. And it really severely hurt me in a lot of ways and limited my capability of understanding who I am, because I was so tied to something outside of myself, which is the role that I was seeking to have. And the one thing we need to remember is that unlike our soul or our mission or purpose, that can be the same the whole way through your life. The identities we have, those change, those adjust as we adjust. And so, for example, you were saying a mother. You didn't start out as a mother, right? You started out as a daughter.
Yes.
You started out as a child. And so, we have to be aware of the roles that we have, but you could still be love as a child, as a daughter, and then still be love as a mother. And so that's where, when we can really effectively identify and communicate to ourselves the roles that we have and the roles that we are, it's so important. And then we can bring more intention and purpose into those roles through our purpose, through our mission, through who we are at a very soul level. So that I can, for example, as I watch you breathe love into all the roles that you play.
Thank you. And I think that's such a good point, because roles can kind of fall out from underneath of us unexpectedly too.
Right.
So in your case, like being a golfer, that was not something where you were like, okay, I'm just done with that role, I'm going to move on to a next. It was abruptly stopped. And so when you tie who you are, your sense of self, to a role, and that role goes away, so does your sense of self.
Right.
And then you're wandering. Where if you have a strong connection to both things, your mission, and that is a constant, that is steady, that is always there. And the roles will kind of flow, they ebb and flow. Then when one gets taken away in some way, whether that's because you've chosen to let it go, or whether it just runs its course or it's taken away, you're not lost. You know that you still have all of this that you are.
Very well said.
And so that's part of this too, like how often am I in one, how often am I in another? And the reason that's more toward the top of this pyramid is because so many of us do identify ourselves as the roles that we play. And I did this for the longest time. Like my whole life was really wrapped up in the fact that I am a mother. And so, when that was not, I'm still a mother, but they age and they get their own lives and they start to move on with that. And so if I didn't have other things, then I could have very well just felt this emptiness in my life. And so we have to be able to balance that. And then the last one is a drive there. You'll see at the top. And is your drive what motivates you, what gets you out of bed in the morning? Is it focused on vision, or is it focused on ambition, right? So are you a visionary? Are you looking at a larger picture? What is it that is really driving you in that way? Or are you highly ambitious? Are you going after something? And you're not going to stop until you get it. And so there are just two different approaches. So ambition is part of the ego, vision is part of the soul, seeing the bigger picture from the soul level. And those two marry so well together. Because if you're going to be ambitious, it's really important to have the bigger picture.
Absolutely. Practically, vision might be your creative, your being, and ambition may be your actual doing.
Yeah.
And so it's a really great understanding of how to balance being and doing, because both are important. We are human beings, we're not human doings. We say this all the time. And so there is a key aspect. Our ambition is inherently limited by our vision. And so it's important to balance and flow between the two, because we can have great ambition, but if we don't know what it's going towards, then, what is that? And then what's the point? What is it doing? Nothing really, not anything. We're just kind of, on the...
You're on the hamster wheel?
Hamster wheel, thank you.
Just running in a circle?
Just running in a circle, running really fast, going nowhere.
Yeah.
That's ambition without vision, right? But you could have incredible vision and have this amazing ideas. How many people are out there that have incredible ideas, but aren't able to connect that drive and the ethic towards, the work ethic. I don't want to use work, but that's just the term. But the action steps, I think that's probably a better term, to actually accomplish that vision. And so many people, unfortunately, and I was there at some point, got lost in, hey, I have this great vision, why isn't it coming forward? Why can't I accomplish what I can clearly envision?
Yeah.
And so this is another practical understanding of learning how to balance those two and why it's so important to accomplish what we desire. It can make a world of difference.